BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
This weekend, the show you love returns for another week to discuss the latest aviation news within the industry. It was a busy one here on the channel, with at times me publishing 4 videos per day. However, even with that, there was still lots missed. Coverage centres today around the dispute between Airbus and Qatar Airways, American Airlines, Norwegian and more, so definitely stay tuned as we dive right on into it. Did you know though? I have a second channel, DJ's Transport, covering the rail industry from the UK, the United States and Europe, with in-depth analysis, train spotting and a whole lot more. Go subscribe today and join the growing community there. Let's begin though with one of the certainly most significant disputes ongoing within the industry, that being Qatar Airways and Airbus involving the A350. It's been well documented here on the channel, so I'm not going to waste too much time explaining the actual circumstances of the 350 dispute, other than say its surface-related issues. The tensions though have only escalated following a UK judge ordering Airbus to not make any critical changes to its A321 program until it is advised it can do so. This is concerning the delivery slots of aircraft. As we know, Airbus terminated their order with Qatar Airways for 50 of the A321neos. Subsequently, Qatar Airways went out and ordered the 737 MAX a matter of weeks later. So while Airbus lost those 50 orders, something it would have now been able to do was move up deliveries for customers, with initially the first 321neo for Qatar arriving in 2023. After all, the A321neo is undoubtedly in demand, with customers wanting it left, right and centre. Now though, it has been told not to allocate the valuable in-demand delivery slots as per Reuters to other airlines until a hearing. Why? Because in April, Qatar will seek an injunction reinstating the contract. For the broader problems on the 350, Airbus has openly acknowledged the quality issues it has caused with the widebody multiple times now, something I would argue it's not necessarily shying away from. However, the escalation of the problem has come following Airbus formally noting that it is not a safety issue. Qatar, though, brands it as one, and has grounded over 20 total units from the A350 series. The court battle is nowhere near being finished, and will be moving into April at the latest, with April 26 set for the date where the 350 dispute will be taking place. Before that, though, there are more court dates involving the A321neo and generally the fractured relationship that has unfolded right in front of our eyes. Reuters also continued to confirm in a report earlier in the week that Qatar is actually trying to seek a ruling to preserve the 321neo deal. However, on Airbus's part, they say it was fully in their right to cancel the 321neo deal following Qatar being unwilling to take their own aircraft. As you can see, the situation is only getting messier and messier, and while the core issue is definitely the A350, other aircraft are being dragged into the ongoing dispute, and it seems like it's more turned into an Airbus versus Qatar Airways dispute rather than something just over the A350. What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comment section below as we move into the next topic, that being American Airlines and their Boeing 787s, and this directly ties into scheduling. I've previously covered this in a recent video detailing how the delays in 787 deliveries would impact their summer schedule in a negative manner, and now that is sadly only going to be continuing. The airline notes that it will only further cut its summer schedule as the 787 deliveries still have no date of commencing again, something heavily documented also in recent videos, where the last updates indicate that the Federal Aviation Administration will take all the time they need in the world before reapproving the jet for deliveries. However, the knock-on effect on customers, namely, of course, the focus for this specific topic being American Airlines, is undoubtedly very tough. The airline notes that it expects 10 Dreamliners this year instead of 13, but this is also very much subject to change, as at the moment, the 787 is still not being delivered, and as we progress longer and longer into the year, with these aircraft not getting the permission to be delivered, this number that American expects could only shrink to a lower amount. Routes being affected include notably Los Angeles to Sydney, which actually only just recently resumed, Dallas to Santiago, Seattle to London, while there's also going to be route launches that will be adversely affected due to the lack of aircraft on offer. American Airlines plans on essentially postponing these specific route launches. Now, do you remember Norwegian? The airline was a couple of years ago given 9 days to survive before a collapse was expected. Now, not just a collapse in the form of restructuring, but more so related to a collapse in regards to ceasing all operations. Well, at the end of the week just gone, the airline actually announced a full-year profit for 2021, a massive turnaround in their fortunes as they cited a more robust travel demand throughout Europe, and of course enormous restructuring for the business overall during this pandemic. In the fourth quarter alone though for the airline, they actually carried some 3.1 million passengers. Absolutely fantastic, and it is up 2.5 million from the previous quarter overall. Load factor also increased to 77%, which was up a further 52.4% over those 2020 results. The CEO of Norwegian said, "I am pleased that we have been able to adapt to fluctuations quickly and efficiently, and that we can report a profit and an improved cash position in a quarter strongly affected by the variant and the government-imposed travel restrictions. I would also like to thank colleagues from across the airline for their continued dedication and hard work. We're looking forward to welcoming more customers on board heading into the busier spring and summer seasons, with the fleet increasing to 70 aircraft and over 270 routes on sale." The airline has undergone quite the significant restructuring in recent years, with it actually slimming down its operations, notably removing the Boeing 787s, which were seen on long-haul services as far as Los Angeles. Most of these 787s have headed to Norse Atlantic Airways, a new airline to join the aviation industry that very much says it is not Norwegian 2.0, but there are striking similarities that cannot be ignored. However, back to Norwegian, the company is now finally ready to begin increasing its fleet size this coming year. Ultimately, though, it's because it halved its total fleet portfolio due to the restructuring. I can't begin to explain how fantastic news this is, and also welcomed news. Having covered Norwegian when they were, you could argue, definitely at the lowest of the low, to see the airline now posting profits and be in a position where it can survive is brilliant, and something we can only hope for any airline that is in this place of struggle, notably Hong Kong-based Cathay Pacific. Coverage for the final topic, though, centers around Atlas Air. I don't typically cover the freighter operators and how they're performing here on the channel, but I thought why not change that, especially after passing through Los Angeles and collecting a bunch of new B-roll footage. Atlas Air had an incredible year with continued results that saw them post a record year. This is something we've seen worldwide as freight has quite literally soared. For many operators with cargo subsidiaries, it has actually been the saving grace for their operations. Revenue from Atlas Air was at a staggering $4 billion for the year, with the chief executive saying, "We are leveraging our world-class fleet and global operating capabilities to increase aircraft utilization and capitalize on strong demand for our services and dedicated freighters, as well on higher aircraft yields," adding, "Acquiring these wide-body freighters underscores our confidence in the demand for dedicated international air freight capacity, particularly in express, e-commerce, and fast-growing global markets," with the last part concerning the operator continuing to welcome in new aircraft throughout the pandemic and 2022 also being a critical year for them. That's going to conclude today's Aviation News Weekly. Now, if you have absolutely any thoughts, do not hesitate to leave them down in the comment section below, as I would be very interested to hear your take maybe on Norwegian, Atlas Air, potentially the big feature story, that being the Airbus and Qatar Airways dispute, or even the Boeing 787 with American Airlines. Thank you very much for watching. Do take care and be safe, and I will see you next time.